Hello. So I'd like to say thank you to the new subscribers. I was going to make this video yesterday, but this last week I worked with one of my brothers I haven't worked with since last year, and in the time between that and now, he had lost 100 pounds. My brother Jorge really ran me through my paces this week, so I was a little bit beat up yesterday. Hard work, man. It is rewarding. I want to make this video in response to some of the comments I got from the last video I did. I want to try and put what I'm trying to do into context for you. The first of the comments I would like to touch on was a brief comment, very politely put, about how they'd only watched for 40 seconds and they know that the discovery and the deep thinking on consciousness is littered with people who are just full of shit. They call them snake oil salesmen and stuff like that. And I agree. 100% I agree. There's been a ton of just playing around with this subject for our species. And some people who do gain insight use it to their advantage, without a doubt. I mean, that's how we function. If we discover something, we use it to our advantage. And they also said that discussing things like awakenings is a red flag, psychologically speaking, that it is a sign of deeper problems. I'd really like to address that. One, those deeper problems are not always a symptom of the process. More often than not, I would wager, they are the process that leads to these results. What we do with them, all of that, that's as unique as humanity. If it's just take advantage, then that's what happens. Advantage is taken. I think that if you understand what I'm trying to explain here, psychology takes an interesting twist, because when you look at psychology in a historical context, what we're going to find is that psychology gave us the work to do in order to understand our own consciousness. It gave us the terminology we needed to describe the functions that happen within our consciousness. What we're going to find is, once we've defined and understand how our consciousness works, psychology, it was a bridge for us to understanding, and it gave us incredible vocabulary. If I were to be honest about it in reflection and say, and answer the question as to mental problems or instability due to talking about things like awakenings, I would say that there was danger during the 20 years that I was doing this work fruitlessly. There was definitely danger then. I don't know that a psychiatrist would have been qualified to help with it, considering the end result is what makes psychology nearly irrelevant. But I don't think you're looking at the problem now. You're looking at someone who had a deep problem for a very long time and now has not. I don't have that to deal with anymore. Thank God. Wow. But you're right. And what I said can also follow through to my actions going forward now. If I have made a discovery, and I believe I have, then if I was to follow the normal human routine what I should do is take advantage of that discovery. Historically speaking, that's what has happened. But I think to do this work, we need people to do this work that aren't governed by those traps, those pitfalls. Because if I were to right now turn and use this to my advantage, I'm falling into a trap. I'm willingly walking into a trap. That trap it may lead to more comfort here and now. Maybe I get more money. Maybe I get more influence. Maybe I get more ego satisfaction. Whatever it is that I get out of it by using it to my advantage takes away from the work. Say, if what I get out of it satisfies and strokes my ego, I'm no longer looking for truth. I'm tail spinning about how good I am, how magnificent an introduction I've made, how whatever. That takes away from your ability to actually do the work and move forward. That's the difference between mimetically driven, which is the memes are driving you, to mimetically fueled, which is recognition of the memes, their functions, how they're happening in my consciousness, and moving forward with it instead of just spinning it around over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to pick one that came from another comment. And I want to talk about the meme regret. Now, in the standard Dawkinsian definition of memes, regret it still falls within the parameters, but I'm taking quite a bit of liberty here. If I were to imagine that I'm holding my meme that is regret in my hands. See, now each one of us has this thing. And each one of us has interacted with it a little bit differently. For me, I polished it up really shiny. I put it on the most prominent section of the storage shelf in my freaking mind. And I piled on it. I look at that. I'm proud of that regret there. That regret is going to hold me chasing my tail for years and years to come. And I loaded on it all the things like what I've done as a brother, as a son, as a businessman when I was younger, as a lover. All of these things get piled onto this meme that is regret. And it gets to be my own special brand of the term regret. See, now if I do somehow become successful at this, what I would like to see in the future is an actual database where things like, when did the term or the understanding of regret become a meme for our consciousness? At what point did that happen? Is that pre-empathy? Is that post-empathy? Is it what we needed in order to gain empathy? Or is it a result of having gained empathy? What is it that precedes the meme regret? Either way, that database does not exist. I can't play with something like that. So I have to talk about it in the context in which it exists today. Each of us has this thing. I told you, I polished mine like it was a prized possession. Some people just ignore it. They just, at least it seems to me, I don't know what it's like inside their minds, but it seems to me like some people just pay it no mind. It's just some sort of dull thing that isn't required for what their day-to-day functions are and what their goals are to achieve. Where some of us, there's little else. It's just the thing that keeps circling in our minds, whether it's regret about one thing or another or all of them, or, I don't know, looking back on it when I had these problems, I would say that if I'm going through my day and something specific, like let's say it's work or love or whatever, comes up, that's the meme that I spin for that day. The things I regret most about that thing. So we've got that tail chasing is what's keeping you in place. You are not in control of your growth because you are letting it control you. Maybe I am taking some liberties, but to be able to see this is the difference between an idealistic perspective and a materialistic perspective. The materialistic perspective is, I cannot actually hold this thing called regret because it is not a material thing. It is an ideal thing, and it's too abstract to fit into any working or workable or profitable model. But the people that make the bridge from the idealistic to the materialistic can exploit it. And one of the problems you're going to have with me, because this world offers you traps at every turn. One of the problems you're going to have with me is I actually have a work ethic. I am not afraid to work hard for a living. I don't require using you to explain this. I don't even require you to understand my thinking on memetics in general or consciousness as a whole. I don't need everybody to understand that. I need one person to understand many different aspects. And it can be a different person for each aspect. My path to enabling me to grow human consciousness isn't that millions of people repeat what I have to say. It's that one person gets it and applies it to their specific way of understanding and flourishes it. I don't need the respect or the acknowledgement. I was thinking, when I talk about memes in the Dawkins frame of reference, I'm thinking in the Dawkinsian way. I cannot think of a way that, I think that's just a beautiful way of saying Richard Dawkins in context of his discovery. Dawkinsian. There's no way my name rolls off your tongue in any way like that. I don't care about that. He can have all the credit for this, and everything that comes after, or the things that inspired me can have the credit. The credit doesn't matter. That is a trap. And we are all falling into that trap, just like we fall into traps that orbit this meme that is regret. In the Dawkinsian way, a meme is a unit of culture that is striving for survival in a memetic world. It's something that we replicate in my expanded definition of it. Regret is something that we replicate, either memetically fueled, which means we are using that meme, regret in this instance, and we are using it to grow our consciousness, or memetically driven, where we are allowing that meme to drive our growth of consciousness, because your consciousness is an organic process. It is going to happen one way or the other, whether you are using that meme of regret to drive you around in circles or using it to make you go forward. If you let it do one thing, what it's going to do is just keep you stagnant. If you make it do something for you, that's fueled. I don't need everybody that sees my face to understand that. But what we need first is I need a way to explain my math. Because when I came to the definition of consciousness, I came through it through the quantifiable path. Things had to make sense to get to here. And then I discover the definition of it. And then I try to find a way to explain it. That math is real. That math can be set into algorithms. That math could be set into databases. That math could change our world. But it's not something, when I first started doing this 2 years ago, I really tried to explain the math. I tried everything from bubbles to stick figures to... I deleted all those videos. I think for that particular success, somebody who is more of that mindset will have to be exposed to my ideas, understand it in their special way, and move that ball forward. I don't need to be the winner. I'm good. Life is pretty good. I'm pretty durable. I'd like to see a lot of winners out there, though. People that have their unique consciousness, that understand this concept and can show all the ways in which we got from what we once were to what we are today, and reveal what it is that we could be like for the future. Because two of my motivations for doing this. The first motivation was, there was this girl, young kid, Greta or something, and I should probably know these things before I make a video, and she was giving a speech about how we all should just, why is it that we aren't acting like the world is already on fire? Why isn't it that we're not, when we talk about changing the world or fixing the world or pollution or environmental failures, we don't talk about it like we're on our way to go freaking shovel some dirt to fix this fucking problem. We talk about it in this is abstract. We talk about it in this vague sort of way, because it's still slowly matriculating through our consciousnesses until somebody gives you something materialistic to grab onto and say, this is the thing. Go do this thing, or let's do this thing. Because in the idealistic realm, it's not freaking useful right now. This is a very highly materialistic world. So a bridge is needed to explain what it is that's causing us to not do anything about it, just think about it, and actually make the change to our society. That is today's topic, the meme regret. I've chose this one mainly because it's on my mind, because I know it was part of my growth. It was part of the process that nearly destroyed me. It was a very big part of that. And I imagine, I know I am not unique in this world. See, an absolutist. Absolutes give me the creeps. Anyways, it's highly unlikely that I am unique in this world. There are probably many more people coming to this understanding. We have developed a world where that is now possible. Where, see, I practically disappeared for 20 years. You can do that in this world. You can isolate yourself and you can just think deeply. I don't know that it's a healthy process. It certainly wasn't for me. But you can do that. And I'm betting that there are millions of people out there who are doing this process right now. What they need is a way to put it into solid terms so you can understand and play with these things. Because if you don't think of regret as a thing, and you live in a world that is driven by playing with things, using it, well, anyways, then you don't interact with it the same way. If it is already driving you, if you're already letting it control your growth, because you're growing no matter what you do, this is just stagnating it. If you don't see that, you can't make that connection, because this is a materialistic world. That is an idealistic concept. It seems too abstract to be useful. But this is what psychology has been preparing us for. I don't get incredible words like projection. How have I projected in my life because of that meme that's in my hands? That ball of regret. I don't get that without the incredible vocabulary that psychology gave us. And with that vocabulary, is given us the means to turn idealism into something close enough to materialistic that we can actually utilize it. You can't get growth without something amazing like that. It really was a necessary function for our growth. We had to have psychology. But once you get how these are the things that make us what we're like, once you get that, you just sort of have to say thank you to psychology and do like I did most of my life and just ignore it like it's, well, it was very useful. I want to be able to turn these things into things you can interact with. Because I know, like my brother Jorge and I, there are many of us who know how to work hard for a living. We know that we're capable of it. We know that it doesn't... We've had enough of being controlled or having the world designed by people that don't understand that. It tells me that this new world could be built without the need of all of these this new world could be built by us, just the hard workers. I think there are enough of us that if we found a way to grow a new world with this understanding, we believe in democracy. We believe in, I'm not a manifest destiny kind of person. That's kind of a freaky term to me. I mean, but we can visualize and make what we visualize real. We don't need the slick bullshit. We don't need the snake oil salesman. We don't need another asshole who thinks he figured something out that is just using it to manipulate and saturate. The way the world works is the way our economy works. If there are many people making these discoveries, and the way we get rich in this society is to take as much as we can get from as many different sources, we're those sources, then why do this work? If that's the only goal, we've seen that. We've seen, and we see it day to day, people that just want that materialistic success. It doesn't do justice to the work. No, I don't think that is appealing to me in any way. To use insight and sacrifice future insight just so that I could be more arrogant or comfortable. I'm comfortable. I have to fight ego enough as it is. I don't think I want to add to that struggle. Anyways, it was a little bit weird that Memorial Day I was really chatty and then suddenly people were watching. I mean, I know it's not huge numbers for YouTube. I get that. I'm not. But it was the first time that suddenly, whoa, I better check my teeth before I make a video from now on. But, thank you. I was saying that there was a couple of things that motivated me. That Greta, she gave her speech and she was a kid, man. She looked like she's 13, 14 to me. I don't know. But she wasn't really in my consciousness when I was sick, when I was really hurting. She wasn't a thing then. But that's when it occurred. And then I was watching a documentary. I think it was the 2000s or the 2010s. And they had a clip of her in there, and she's like, I want you to act like the house is burning. And from what my friend Dee says, basically the world's response was, you know what? Why don't you go enjoy being a kid? It's all right. Sit down and be a kid. But my response was, once that had actually affected me, well, how does somebody like me respond? Like the house is already on fire. What is it in me that I can utilize to help that cause? And that is the results you see right now. So, in a way, she can have credit for this discovery as well, because her motivation for me led here. I don't know why there isn't more of a push in this regard. It's like it's only good in theory for humanity. I mean, in practice, I was going to do a video on build a development company, but in practice, we build these tiny house neighborhoods now. It looks like a hybridization from gated community and trailer park. That's what it looks like to me. That's our new hybrid. And if I was going to build a development company that helps change the world, that shows the model for how we build in order to change the world, I'm not sure I would go in that direction. Somehow you've managed to take the concept of tiny home and turn it into, like I said, the hybridization of gated community and trailer park. It's okay, it can be repeated, so it may be useful meme, but you're still building wide. How many people are going to want tiny homes with 40 acres? You know what I could do with a tiny home on 40 acres? Anyways. It seems a little bit like the way humanity does everything they do. Something new enters our consciousness, and we do it so fucking weird. Sorry, I should pause for that. The other thing that drives me to do these videos is a meme, the meme. All that is necessary for the success of evil is that good men do nothing. I have told you before that I would much rather just be doing the work. This isn't what I consider doing the work. This is my attempt at translating the work into words and understandings that could be useful to you. I would much rather just be doing the work. I mean, that's totally selfish. I get that. If that is doing the work, then it should be shared. I don't think I can be true to myself if I was to use this like a snake oil salesman. I think that given the fact that I understand exactly what it is to make that kind of creature, snake oil salesman. I understand the mimetic paths, the traps, the work that goes into becoming that creature. That creature is not interesting for me. That creature has taken a part of the work and just said, it's good enough, I can use this. I don't want there to be, well, that's good enough. Let's go out and make my money. I love the work. No. Not with those two memes going around and around in my brain. Tail spinning, tail chasing. At least that kind of tail chasing is chasing something that helps me grow. Maybe that's a bridge you could use. If you don't really see the idealistic vision that I'm trying to give you, maybe you just understand it in a more rudimentary fashion. Maybe it would help to grow into more understanding. If you just thought of those things that you chase around in your head. Now I've given you an example in regret. That one can make growth incredible, but maybe find joyful ones to throw in there too. I mean, that was essentially the essence of talk therapy, was to freaking understand the negative that's driving you and deal with those things and interject better things. I suppose that is the working, useful level of psychology. Anyways, my neighborhood's waking up. So, thank you. Have a good day.